Welcome to the Justin Johnston Show. I'm Justin Johnston, and I'm giving an update on one of my very exciting projects that's happening here in Utah. Of course, I said I'd give some updates when the next phase was going to roll on, and this is in the world of silicon chip manufacturing, Texas Instrument. They acquired the Lehi facility, which is just south of Salt Lake County, in between basically Provo and Salt Lake. If you are familiar with the area, up against the hillside, Micron came in the 90s. IM Flash, which was Intel, did a joint venture with Micron. They were doing the flash chip technology up there. And then Texas Instrument made an acquisition. There's additional ground there. And so in, I think, October of 2022, that's when the acquisition was made. The spring of 2023, they announced, hey, we're going to dump, with a combination of some economic development stuff from the state of Utah. They were able to, which I think they were planning from the very beginning, but to dump what is the largest deal to date of an economic development agreement with a company, with Texas Instrument in this case, of $11 billion. And, you know, that's a huge deal for multiple reasons. Number one, I don't love to be like a protectionist with not having whoever manufacturer from around the world our chips and things like that. But after what we saw with COVID, there's definitely some things that we need to be doing to at least, if nothing else, protect us in times of supply chain, right? It was a big deal. I mean, we had Ford trucks that were sitting out there without these little chips, which is what the manufacturing of this plant and what they retrofitted the old plant for is the 300 millimeter wafers, I think is the way that they refer to them. Now, this is not totally my field, but I have looked into everything as best I can, which is 11.9 inch. They call it the 12-inch disc wafer. Yeah, pretty close to that, right? And if you've ever seen this process, of course, Silicon Valley, Silicon Slopes here, the references to what? Sand, right? It's a very, very pure quartz sand. I'm not sure if I'm saying that completely correct, but it is refined down to where they have this large, and it just keeps getting bigger, but where they take a solid, I don't know if melting down is the right word, but there's a solid thing of silicon that is cut into the thinness of that chip. But then on the 12-inch, and that's why they're the most, difficult to manufacture, but very efficient if they're able to do it, which, of course, Texas Instrument is amazing at doing this, and because that's what they get. So it's a wafer, and even though it's round, it seems like it would be easier, but the manufacturing process isn't. It comes round, but inside, when you look at this wafer, there's tons and tons of different little microchips on there. That's what the process of manufacturing them, and then they can break them out, and it's just a cool process. I mean, and of course these are bringing high-paying jobs, and only in the world of chips, because for me it blows my mind, right? So when I hear that and the United States of America's debt, that we're basically, of all the payments we make, 3/4 of it is interest, because we're in the trillions, which is mind-boggling to even get your arms or brain around. But let me see here. So I'm just pulling from a couple different articles on this, but they are making, and what they plan to make when they become fully functional, which of course they're just getting ready to start the second plant here in Utah. There are, let me go back here. So they've made, and I just want to clarify this, they've made a commitment, not just to the $11 billion that's going to be spent, but it appears, if I'm putting the math right together here, is that they have they were spending maybe somewhere around $1.5 billion a year to expand the technology in their chips. They had a plant in Dallas, and I think there's one in Richardson, Texas. There's actually a couple there. So that's dating back to 2010. So in the expansion of that, they were spending what appears to be maybe $1.5 billion, which is wonderful. It's an American company that's spending that. They increased that by another $3.5 billion per year through the end of 2026, which is basically $5 billion a year is what they're committed to invest in, well, their future, to be able to be more efficient and facilities to upgrade. And I'm hoping that they're going to upgrade the existing plant in Lehigh as well, but because it will allow them to crank out a heck of a lot more of those wafers. Now, this is where it gets a little crazy. When I was saying before, they're expected when they get in 2026, when they complete the second plant, tens of millions of analog and embedded processing chips every single day. Tens of millions. And that's just out of the Utah facility. They're used in everything. We put them in wherever the chips are, and however they can be used, and they can be specialized, and that's what they're going to be able to crank out here. Now, just the excitement of it all, with that, it's not just the only place they're expanding here in Utah. They're actually expanding down in Texas, in Sherman, Texas. They're going to build 4 new facilities and plan to spend $30 billion down in Texas, in Sherman, Texas. And so that's pretty exciting. Let's see. I just want to make sure that they did do a breaking of the groundbreaking ceremony, ribbon cutting, all that stuff up there just this last week. I went through there. This is a great company. They produce 80,000 different products. Now, I'm sure those are slight changes in some of their things, but they have a lot of other products that they manufacture, and it's a great company. They've got a lot of, I think they employ around 33,000 around the world. Almost half of that, not quite, but they will when they ramp these other facilities up, but about 14,000 of those jobs are in America. And this plant, when finished, it's going to bring 800 new jobs. Now, if you remember in the past, when I've talked about this, when you get good manufacturing jobs like this, one manufacturing job brings about 5 other jobs. Just think about what jobs they are, from gas station attendants, fast food, other restaurants, dry cleaners, all the other, and this is just for a single job because we're saying 800 jobs, but I'm not talking about the ones that would actually be the subcontracting companies for Texas Instrument. When they bring that job in, that if a company decides to follow them and put a location so that they got boots on the ground here in Salt Lake City, for every job that those other companies bring in, they're going to bring in 5 more jobs. And so I just don't see things slowing down here along the Wasatch Front, Wasatch back up into Heber, Park City. It's kind of an exciting time. So what does that equate to? Just without any other companies following Texas Instrument out here, their 800 jobs will add about 4,000 additional jobs, supporting jobs, which is great for elderly, retired, teenagers. Those are the types, a lot of the jobs, and they'll create secondary incomes, hopefully not people having to go out and get 2 and 3 new jobs to support themselves that way. But now, just I guess the last thing to bring up that I want to just point out in these articles is that, a couple things. One, STEM, right? Everybody talks about these STEM. We don't really have what they would call, at least in the Alpine School District, which is up in that where the plant is going to be located at, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, STEM jobs, which, by the way, that means that there's going to be more jobs for young boys and men because we're more analytical and smarter in those things than women. Of course, I'm totally kidding. I really am kidding 100%. That's, it seems like if that is the case, I know boys are kind of drawn to that, and they like to figure things out. They like to fix problems, even the ones we can't fix, right? The ones I just created by saying that little comment right there. But I'm not, I would love to see more of this hit the educational system, homeschooling as well. I would love to almost have a separate school that would be a STEM school for kids. Of course, they're going to dump the money into the Alpine School District, which has proven to build amazing facilities for athletic events and for theatrics and things like that. Questionable how much money is spent on additional teachers and actually expanding the education for the children, the masses, right? And so I'm not a huge advocate of the public school systems. There's just nothing about them that I can get behind. They misuse funds. They have top heavy management, supervisors, administrators. It just, I just think it's so antiquated. I really do believe that what they teach in a year could be done in maybe a month, you know. And I mean that even at the highest levels of math and English and literature, it could definitely be accelerated. We should have kids going to college, of course, which don't go to college to these damn universities right now on that as well. But at the end of the day, you know, by the time, like they used to, at 13, 14, 15 years old, because otherwise you're wasting your greatest earning years. And if you're not going to go into that, get a trade. Find out what you can do there. But this is, or go out and start your own business. The other thing I was going to say, which is positive, they're going to dump a lot of money for that STEM program. They're actually going to put, the district has 85,000 students, and they are planning to dump, I don't remember, $9 million in the Alpine School District to develop the state's first science, technology, engineering, and math learning community. And that is not just available to like high school students, that is from K through 12. That could make a difference. You know what, maybe if nothing else, if that program can actually invigorate the minds of some of the youth, that will make them reach out and find new technologies with this, there's probably not a better way to spend $9 million in the community. So I'm behind that. The other thing that I was impressed with is the renewable electricity. They're actually designing and planning to have the second 300 millimeter chip manufacturing plant to be 100% renewable electricity. So it'll be self-sustaining, and there's a process of a lot of water that is used in manufacture of these chips and wafer boards. They've come up with a plan that says, you know, the faster that you can regenerate the water, right, means you have to use less water coming in. So they've got a system that will do it about 2.5 times faster than the existing plant or what's out there technology. So they're coming up with innovative ways to have this plant be basically, I don't want to say zero carbon, that would not be right, but it would be the plant itself, as far as electricity being used, would be 100% renewable. It'll be interesting to see if they can pull that off. And of course, in the desert here, we love to see any way that we can recycle water, reclaim water, or use it properly in the first place. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and hey, give us some feedback to what you think we could do better. Thank you.